Listen up. Today, we're not in a fancy kitchen, we're diving into the world's top 10 most disgusting foods. From fermented fish to maggot-infested cheese, we're exploring dishes that push the limits of what's edible. Why do people eat these? Tradition, necessity, or just a wild sense of adventure? We'll find out. I'll guide you through the science, history, and sheer audacity behind these culinary nightmares. If you've got a strong stomach, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and brace yourself. Let's get this horror show started. First up, Sweden's surströmming, fermented Baltic herring in a can that bulges from the pressure. Open it, and you're hit with a stench so foul it's banned from airplanes. Imagine rotten eggs, sewage, and a sun-baked garbage bin multiplied by 1,000. Swedes open it underwater to contain the smell and always eat it outside. The taste? Salty, acidic, and utterly punishing. Traditionally served with bread and potatoes, but nothing can mask that aroma. It's a dish born from necessity, but honestly, some traditions should stay in the past. Surströmming is less a meal, more a dare. Why do people still eat it? Stubbornness, pride, or just to see if you'll gag? It's a culinary endurance test. Disgusting. Let's move on before I lose my lunch. Next. Sardinia's casu marzu, literally rotten cheese, takes things up a notch. This sheep's milk cheese is deliberately infested with live maggots. The larvae break down the cheese, turning it soft and weepy. The maggots can jump if disturbed, so eaters shield their eyes. Some eat it with the maggots, others try to brush them off. Good luck. The flavor is sharp, pungent, and lingers for hours. Here's the kicker. If the maggots are dead, the cheese is toxic. It's banned in the EU, but still sold on the black market. Eating casu marzu is a gamble, dangerous and disgusting. Cheese should never fight back. This is a disgrace to dairy everywhere. Let's move on. Next horror, please. In the Philippines, balut is a street snack that's not for the faint-hearted. It's a fertilized duck egg, incubated until the embryo develops, then boiled and eaten in the shell. Crack it open, and you're staring at a partially formed duck. Bones, beak, feathers, and all. First, you slurp the broth, then eat the yolk and embryo. The texture? Creamy yolk, soupy liquid, and the crunch of tiny bones. Some say it tastes like chicken, but the visuals are a deal-breaker. It's considered a delicacy, and an aphrodisiac, but for outsiders, it's a psychological gauntlet. Eating balut is a test of willpower. For me, absolutely not. Onward. Iceland's hakkarl is fermented Greenland shark, poisonous when fresh, so they bury it for months to rot out the toxins. After fermenting underground, it's hung to dry for months more. The result? Chewy cubes that reek of ammonia and decay. The smell is like industrial cleaner in a fish market, eye-watering and unforgettable. The taste? Fishy, then a chemical burn of ammonia. Even Anthony Bourdain called it the worst thing he'd ever eaten. Served in tiny cubes, chased with Brennivin schnapps, Black Death. For Icelanders, it's a rite of passage. For me, it's a culinary abomination. Next! China's century egg, duck, chicken, or quail eggs preserved in clay, ash, and salt for weeks or months. The white turns into black jelly, the yolk a greenish creamy mass. The smell? Sulfurous, ammonia-like, and ancient. Visually, it's alien, dark, gelatinous, and sometimes patterned like pine branches. The taste is intensely savory, salty, and creamy with a strong ammonia tang. For some, it's comfort food. For others, a sensory shock. Served with pickled ginger or in congee, it's a marvel of chemistry but undeniably off-putting. Not for the squeamish. Moving on. South Korea's sanokji is live octopus, chopped and served while the tentacles are still writhing. The suction cups stick to your mouth and throat, making it a choking hazard. Several people die each year from eating it. The texture is chewy, rubbery, and slimy, with a mild flavor. The thrill is in the danger and the sensation of moving food. It's a popular drinking snack, but for me, it's an unnecessary risk. Food shouldn't fight back. It's a culinary adrenaline rush for the brave. For most, it's a hard pass, absolutely insane. Next dish. In Mexico, escamoles are ant larvae, harvested from agave roots and known as insect caviar. They look like pine nuts but are actually ant eggs. Harvesting is dangerous, ants are aggressive and venomous. The texture is soft, popping like caviar, the flavor is buttery and nutty. Usually pan-fried with butter and chili, served in tacos or omelets. Despite the taste, you're still eating a spoonful of ant larvae. It's a mental challenge more than anything. For the adventurous, it's a delicacy. For most, it's a hard no. On to the next. Japan's shiokara is a paste of raw squid mixed with its own guts, salted and left to ferment. The result is a slimy brown, intensely salty and fishy paste. The smell is overpowering, a fermented sea stink that hits hard, usually eaten in tiny amounts with rice or as a drinking snack. Even in Japan, it divides opinion. Some love it, most can't stand it. The texture is gooey and chewy, the flavor a full assault on your senses. It's a food challenge, not a meal. For me, it's a definite no, revolting, moving on. Alaska's stinkheads, king salmon heads buried in pits and left to rot for weeks. The result is a putty-like decomposed mess with a stench that's pure decay. Born from necessity, but the risks are huge. Botulism is a real danger. The texture is mushy, the smell is a weapon. Elders see it as tradition, outsiders see it as a nightmare. You eat everything, flesh, cartilage, eyes, the name says it all. It's a pile of rotten fish head, one of the most repulsive foods on earth. Let's finish strong. Japan's tuna eyeballs, giant orbs the size of tennis balls, staring up from your plate, boiled or steamed, then seasoned with soy or sake. You break through the membrane to reach the fatty, gelatinous center. The taste is mild, but the texture is a nightmare. Chewy muscle, then a burst of fluid. People eat it for the omega-3s, but there are better ways. The visual horror is unmatched. It's a dish that judges you as you eat it. For me, it's the most disgusting food in the world. Absolutely vile. That's it, 10 foods that redefine disgusting. From maggot cheese to rotten shark and staring eyeballs, we've toured a culinary house of horrors. Some are born from tradition, others from necessity, but all push the limits of what's edible. Be adventurous, but know your limits. Maybe appreciate a simple steak a bit more tonight. Tell me in the comments which dish you found most revolting. Thanks for surviving this journey. Now go on, piss off!